All right, I believe we're good to go.
Okay, are we good to go?
Yep.
So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:02. We have quorum. You've all received the agenda. Would anyone like to add anything? Or you can always bring it around on the 4.2 or a roundtable discussion. If not, I'd need a mover and a seconder to accept the agenda.
I'll move it, Bob. It's Dave.
Okay,
Dean.
moved by Dave, seconded by, and I can't see you. You'll have to speak up.
Dean,
And Dean. I take it for granted that everyone is in favor. So adoption of our minutes of our last meeting. Any comments on those? If not, I need a mover and a seconder to accept the minutes of our last meeting, February 24th.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, hi Jennifer.
Aye.
Moved by Jennifer,
I'll second it, Dean.
seconded by Dean. Anyone against it? Carried. Number 4, items for discussion, Earth Day. This is our main focus tonight, Earth Day, April 22nd. Is Kevin on with us?
No, Kevin was in meetings
No,
all
Bob.
day, and he was going to be on the road at this time.
Okay, thank you, Bob. So Earth Day, I guess we can do very little, or we can try and do as much as we can. I'm going to throw you out my idea I had, and I think we might have discussed it a little bit. I thought if we could set up a table, booth-wise, maybe at our local Foodland, and on that day, and get material for Earth Day, explaining what it is and what people can do. And we could tag along our new recycling program, have information on it, maybe have a few of our bins, if they are in at that time. I hope that they would be in. And like discuss our new recycling pickup program also, and have information on it. I'm just going to throw that out there, and what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Dean.
Bob, I must confess that in my thinking about Earth Day, it's hard to come up with ideas where we can reach very many people. That your suggestion probably would let us reach as many people as possible by being at the store and being there for a few days, maybe, or something like that. I guess the next thing is material to have people see. And I think it's probably a pretty good idea. I mean, a pretty good way to start. I have to confess, as I said, I don't have very many ideas. One thing that I did think of, and I don't know whether it's relevant or possible, but I kind of enjoyed those films we got about recycling. And in as much as recycling is, in my view, is a real plus for Earth Day purposes. In other words, we're doing something concrete and something useful and something that helps the earth. And I would suggest that those films ought to be shown in the 2 schools, in Minettville and in Noelville, in the elementary schools particularly. The kids should have an opportunity to see those films, and it gives them a little bit more of an idea, or would do, about what happens to recycling, because most people only see it goes into a box or a bin or a bag, and they don't know what happens after that. And they were pretty enlightening films. And if those were shown to the kids in the school, kids seem to be as earthwise as anybody, or at least interested in the whole idea. So in any event, that's a thought that I have. I think your idea is a good one, depending on the materials we can get to use there, so that we have something to show to people, or something they can take home, or brochures or something. But we have to have something. And if we do, that's a good way to reach a lot of people this time of year, especially, or in April, you know.
Okay, Dean, I'm going to ask Michelle or Bob, or a combination. Would it be possible to show these two films, have them ongoing at the Foodland in the entrance there? If we set up a table on the background that people could just stop, even if they watch a minute. Do you think that would be possible, Bob or Michelle?
Well, I'm not great with technology, but I'm sure somebody can figure out how to set that up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you
Bob,
think,
can I-
Michelle?
Can I just say something?
That wouldn't be an issue.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was speaking. I don't think that would be an issue.
No, okay. Dave?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, through you. I was thinking maybe just with the permissions and stuff for the Foodland, maybe it would be better to use like either our arena or the community center or something to do something like that. Just a thought. It might be a little bit easier because of, I know
Okay,
what you
Dave.
mean with the Foodland, with the traffic and everything.
That's exactly it. That
Yeah,
I don't know people, I don't think we get 10% of the people going out of their way to.
but at the community center, we do have like the bins there where that's the kind of people we want to educate, the ones that are actually going to the bin, right? So I don't know, just an idea.
Okay,
But I do
good.
like the idea about making a booth and like Dean was saying, showing the videos in the schools, and like you were saying, showing the videos on loop. I was thinking of that too. Also, is those videos on our municipal website? If not, I think they should be.
I know they were sent to us. That's why I didn't really go on the website to check that.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm
Nothing
sure-
has been shared yet on our website, but it's going to be shared closer to Earth Day.
The same videos that we were sent?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Michelle, so you're telling us that there will be some initiative on the website relative to Earth Day?
It's going to be specific to our recycling program with the links to the two videos that we had shared with the committee members.
Okay, okay. Maybe, well, I got I don't have the floor, I guess, but I have your attention. So Dean, I like the concept of bringing it to the schools. Like, question would be, how does this actually happen? How would we make that happen? And what schools are we speaking of? Like, do we have a liaison or a particular conduit into the schools? I'm pointing, you can't see me, but I'm pointing at you, Jennifer. Yeah.
The schools are usually very receptive to things we want to do in that regard. That has to do with our, in the past, with anything to do with a Remembrance Day or anything that we're doing that's got a public message to it, that nobody takes things home better than the kids do if they've seen it.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it would be an issue there to have a TV set. They probably have a TV set in each of the two schools. And the two that I'm thinking about are the elementary schools in Noelville and out in Manettville. And they probably have TV sets there. So it's just a matter of a projector with those films, or maybe we could just bring it in the same way we looked at them from online onto the projectors. I'm not that technically savvy, but I'm sure there's a way of doing it.
Oh, I think you're right on. That's a great opportunity. So I certainly believe in it. And Jennifer, what do we have those facilities in the school?
Yes. So yes. So if this is a good opportunity, I wrote up some notes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Take
Okay.
over.
Okay. So yes, I teach at Minettville, so Minettville will not be an issue. My son and husband go to Rivière des Français, elementary and high school. Got both of those areas covered, so that shouldn't be an issue. Although I don't personally know the staff there, apart from my husband. But either I or someone else, I think the principal there will be very receptive. And then I don't know too much about Saint Antoine, but I do know a few people that go there. So I don't think that will be an issue. I'm just going to pull up my notes if you don't mind, so I won't be able to see anyone. Okay, let me see here. I'm just pulling up my notes. I'm going to try and not throw too much out all at once here. But yes, I think this would be an excellent opportunity to get something into the schools. Ideally, it would be awesome if it was presentations given by real people, and even better, the high school kids, like if they had an environment club. But I just put that down on my notes as maybe something to think about for next year. But I think the key is it needs to be as hands-on and interactive as possible, which, given restrictions and also the time and so on and so forth, we're not going to be able to do presentations by kids or us necessarily. But so we'll try. My goal is, my thoughts are to make it as interactive as possible within the constraints that we have. Last year, we didn't have a whole lot of time, but last year we sent out a slideshow presentation that included a few videos that talked about what's going on in our community, and had links to the Waste Wizard recycling game that's on the municipality's website. So that was given to our school. Unfortunately, we didn't get the French translation for Earth Day. And then I sort of dropped the ball on that. I was supposed to get some French videos put into the slideshow, and that didn't happen. So my goal, my goal is to find some good French videos to plunk into that slideshow. But my thought is, if we have a good slideshow with a couple videos, and we can just, decide on the videos, and then we have some kind of action, something that they can do hands-on afterwards. I thought about maybe a recycling challenge between the schools. I was thinking about games and like a recycling relay where, they're in teams and they have different materials, and they have to choose whether they're recyclable or not and what bin they go into. But given COVID and so on, I suppose it would not be a good idea to work with dirty recycling. But if students started to save their recycling and rinse them out and clean them, I was thinking about some kind of challenge, like classes make a tower or bridge or a robot or a sculpture using recyclable material. And then we could display them around the community, like the municipality, the arena, library, grocery store, home hardware. Hopefully we would get some buy-in with that. And then next to the recycling installation, we could have, a little table or a poster board with some key recycling info. So the installation would catch the person's eye, and then hopefully they would look at whatever information we have next to it. Go ahead. So that was one idea I have. I have been looking at the slideshow, and I've been looking at some different videos. I think I could volunteer to do this. I think it would be good to have a presentation geared towards primary and then a presentation geared towards the older grades. And I'm just looking. And then one other idea, just while it's in my head, if we do something like a booth, wherever it is in the community on Earth Day, which is a Friday, maybe we could do have some kind of relay or some kind of hands-on activity that people coming to the booth could do. And I think that's it. I have a few other things, but that's about it for that idea.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. I see you got I was going to say a future recycler beside you, but he's probably already recycling.
Yes.
Any comments from anyone and all your ideas?
I think they're all very good, and going to the school is clearly a great initiative, because we're going to get to the people, to the children that are going to make the difference. My grandchildren says, "Grandpa, you guys messed this thing up, and we're going to fix it." So, I think they're right.
Maybe that should be our slogan.
maybe. So, like I said, I really encourage that, and I think it's a great spot. And then if it grows from, year on year, with some mind, so possibly this year is a starting point, or last year would be a starting point, and each year we possibly could, develop and grow. And when I think about the schools, clearly it's about the young mind, but there's a lot of energy there as well. When we spoke last, I had made a very brief commentary on Forests Ontario, and just brought it forward as something that I had heard about and looked into. And they have something called the 50 million tree program. And I don't think we could knock off 50 million trees, but I thought that might be an interesting conduit into the schools as well. Potentially each child with 5 trees, and they go home and they plant them with their parents, and being part of that initiative. It's not recycling per se, but it clearly is a strong environmental statement. And again, if we do this year on year, I don't think we'll get to 50 million, but it might be an interesting challenge to try to grow a number that our municipality was going to support. Anyway, I throw it out there. I think it's an interesting concept. It's run by a group. It's a not-for-profit, which I think we have to be not concerned about, but considering. This isn't the government necessarily. My understanding is they charge something like 25 cents a tree. Don't know a whole lot more than what I'm just saying, but I just felt it would be an interesting initiative. And again, at the Foodland, maybe handing out a pine or a spruce sapling and having people put them in the ground. So throwing it out there is whether that's an initiative that fits under this committee, and if we think that makes any sense. Again, it would cost some monies, but I would expect we could find something within the municipality's budget to help fund it if that's what we wanted to do. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, and that's just throw it out there for consideration.
Okay, thank you, Tim. And along those lines, I know fellow councillor Randy Aslick was telling us that the French River Lions will have some seedlings, but
Yes.
later on. And I thought maybe if we reached out to them and they could have a person on Earth Day
Yeah, good.
at our table with us to take names or, let it be known that they will have seedlings available.
Sure, sure.
Also, if we decide to go ahead and do this, I was thinking hour-wise, it's on a Friday. If we could go 10 to 4 maybe, I would like to have at least 2 people at the table, maybe one staff, Michelle and Bob, and one person from the committee. I know I can make myself available, and if need be, I can make myself available for the 6 hours. But it would be nice to have one staff and at least one person from the committee, maybe members of council. I've already talked to Mark about it, and he sees no problem. From here, I don't know where we go. Michelle, since this is going to be most of the work is probably going to be done by you, or a lot of it. So could we get you to chime in and have your thoughts? I hate like yelled. Go ahead.
To you, Mr. Chair. I think that you guys all have a lot of great ideas, and maybe if you guys can just work out what exactly you want to do with this booth, then the municipality will be able to provide, maybe some of the materials, maybe some promotional items, and some try to figure out how we could do the video reel for the recycling videos. I liked the idea of both the co-op and the community center. The community center would be nice to be right where the people are dropping off the recycling. But these are your ideas. So you guys kind of decide where you want to go with this, and we'll provide the best support that we can.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, sorry.
Yes, Dave.
If we have enough people, maybe we can do both, maybe at the Foodland and the community center. And I'm also thinking maybe we should provide information on there for people to help, so they can do like just a little home-based compost system for people who are interested in doing that. Just some information out there so they know what to put in there, how to do it the proper way. I think a lot of people would do their own at home. I do it. It's very easy, and it's very good.
Okay, I believe we had already asked staff to give us some information on this, but
Yeah.
further
But I
along
mean,
in the
so
year. But
Yeah,
even if
but I
it
mean-
would just be a handout, a one sheet, and a few basic instructions on it, how to go, would be nice. Michelle, a question to you, or maybe Bob has the answer also. Do you think by April 22nd, our recycling bins are going to be in?
To you, Mr. Chair, the recycling bins are set to arrive next week.
Next week? Okay, so that would be no problem having 1 or 2 there on display. Both, say if we go with two booths, 2 places that people could see them, and it would attract attention.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Well, we have the list is finalized of who is participating in the pilot project, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But that's not happening. It's not starting until later. Like, is it soon after Earth Day or a
I
month
believe
later?
it starts May 12th, and Bob can correct me if I'm wrong here.
That's correct. That's the scheduled start date.
Okay, so
And I
could we
believe
oh, sorry.
Then it will go like May 12th, every second Thursday.
Okay.
I believe May 12th is a Thursday, and that's when it starts.
And will the letter, well, I guess we've sort of introduced, it's been mentioned in the last letter out to residents. But residents don't know yet if they're part of the pilot project or not. So is that something that we should advertise on our poster board or whatever we create?
Yes, we could, but I believe staff have a plan of delivering the
Okay.
recycling boxes right to the household, right to the driveway, the steps. And jump in, please, Bob.
That's the plan. Kevin will be in charge of that. The letters will be drafted up soon to give out to the residents as they give them the bins. Or if the residents aren't there, they'll be leaving the bins on the doorstep.
Okay. Okay, I'm just thinking, like, you know, when people come up and they start asking us questions, and if people are asking us about the program and whether or not they're going to be included, I guess we'll just tell them, you know, you'll find out once, you know, in a few weeks once you
I
get in.
presume, and we'll make sure that whoever's at the table, that's why I would like to have one staff and one
Mhm.
committee member. And we can have a small map, like the
Okay,
town of
yeah.
Wellville, the town of Wellville, the town of Alban, connecting roads, plus Worsley Bay Road, Highway 528.
Okay,
Or maybe just even a list of roads would do it.
A list of roads also, we can,
okay,
and both would be nice, just the more information we have, the more knowledgeable we look.
yes, exactly. I hate when someone asks me a question and I go, I have no idea. If I could just pipe in, I think my experience with booths and trying to get people's attention when, you know, it's a Friday and they're tired and they're busy and so on and so forth, we don't have their attention for very long. So I think it's probably a good idea if we choose something to really focus on, like recycling and the improving our recycling in the community. And then maybe, you know, we can have a pamphlet, one pager, or maybe it's part of our poster board, other things you can do for Earth Day. And that's maybe where, you know, we can mention composting and I don't know, cleaning up garbage and various other things. We have that as like a, you know, one pager or something. If you have, you know, for those that have the desire and extra energy. I do like the tree idea too, because that is something tangible that, you know, is sort of also like a little thank you for stopping by and sort of keep the momentum going if we're able to get those trees. And I mean, that would be a nice way to partner too with the Lions Club if they do have spare trees and they can come out and join us.
It could be, Jennifer, as simple as having a handout. Trees will be available on these days from the Lions Club, and maybe a phone number.
Yeah, if the trees aren't available that day, yeah.
Because I don't believe they'll be available that day.
Okay, gotcha.
So we could just, you know, like push that for them, and maybe another sheet, maybe on the same sheet, some quick facts. You see them all the time. Here, in your printer, use recyclable paper. Use the other side. You're saving 22 trees a year or something like that.
Yeah.
Quick facts.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. The other thing I was going to suggest is, I know this would require more time commitment, but I'm just wondering about going till, you know, for those that are working like a 9 to 5 kind of thing, going a little bit longer till 5 or 6, just to catch those that are at work during the day. Or even, I don't know if cottagers are starting to come up, but maybe we would get a little bit of a different crowd too later on in the day. I know, like, I'll be at work all day, so I wouldn't be available until 3:30 or 4. And I don't know if there's anything going on at the arena that night, like if there's another Rapids game, I don't know their schedule, or another hockey game or something. It'd be nice to have something to catch that crowd.
They're in the playoffs starting this week. They might be out of it by then. We can't guarantee a game.
Yeah. No,
That part we can't guarantee.
no. But is there usually something happening on a Friday night at the arena?
If the Rapids are out, the arena will be closed and the ice will probably be gone by then.
Okay,
Well,
oh, go ahead.
It all depends what they do in the playoffs. We can't predict that. So.
Okay, so the thought for the arena is we would be outside, where the sort of the.
Well, if there's no Rapids playing that night, there won't be anything going on. So
Okay.
It's almost
that's a crapshoot.
list, but
Yeah, there's no use at the arena if there's no game on.
no.
Okay.
Would it make sense to maybe attend at the transfer stations and maybe set up something outside? And this is our audience, in fact, are people that are showing up to recycle and throw waste. Would that make any sense?
Well, on a Friday night, the bins in the level are closed. So unless we open the bins for a special occasion.
Yeah. No, I know you're absolutely right. There's a schedule to that as well.
So
Anyway,
they close at 6.
They close at 7 a.m. on Wednesday and they open at 6 on Saturday night.
Oh, that's right. Fridays, they're closed right through.
So I guess if this is, the physical day of Earth Day, or maybe it would be an initiative leading up to Earth Day. It just seems like, let me tell you my experience. So the last couple of weeks, I've spoken to people at the transfer stations, and a lot of the commentary was, well, I didn't know that. That would have been good to know. This type of conversation might be a great place to, in fact, engage with people that actually want to know, and maybe change some behaviors. Possibly that doesn't tie directly to Earth Day, but maybe it does.
I've had, Tim, a few of my friends, why don't you advertise the hours? And I tell them what we have been, there's a big sign right there. And,
Yep.
it is, people are too busy or are too much in a hurry. They don't take time to, it's education.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what about the Esso then? If the arena is questionable, what about the Esso and Foodland as two places?
Well, I was thinking of the Foodland. I hadn't really thought about the Esso.
I think if there's two, one should be in Albin.
One should be in Albin, like you were saying, the community center there. But just coming back to the Esso, it's a little tight in there.
Yeah, there's no room.
Put a table, and I know I could get the okay from Jill, but it would be a little tight for his business. Parking also.
Yeah, sometimes you can't even get in to get gas. It's so
Yeah.
True. Sorry, I thought you meant the arena in Noelville. I didn't realize we were talking about the arena in Albin. So sorry, that was
Community
totally
center.
Noelville centric over here. Sorry.
Okay.
But I think the community center as a second place would be really good, because there is actually bins there, like Tim was saying, that we'd be set up at bins, and the Foodland has a lot of traffic. So I think those two would be probably our best two options.
Now, I'm just going to ask you as committee members, could you, and I know Jennifer, during the day you're all tied up, but would you be available to put a few hours in during the day, committee members? And I'm sure we can get our mayor to to
I'll put in a couple
volunteer a
hours.
few hours. We'll volunteer her also, like she does to us
Yeah.
sometimes.
I'll put in a couple hours, Bob, no problem.
Yeah, okay,
And I'll do the same, Bob.
okay.
Mm.
Tim,
The
would you
only
be
thing-
available for a few hours?
Absolutely. Anything at all we can do to help. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can, I think we can fix that, some kind of schedule
Mhm.
that,
The only thing, Bob, is I'm gonna need reminders because I'm liable to forget.
Yeah.
well, okay, you remind me to remind you. Any more ideas here?
This could be, another meeting as we get closer. I don't know if there's a few people that want to work a little bit more closely and meet again to talk about, what info would be on display at the info booth, but just along those lines, sort of preliminary here. When we are ready to talk about that, I think it would be a good idea to to jot down what our key messages are, and those would be the ones that we would focus our info around. I just jotted down a few things from previous conversations. So just to get my ideas out there, and this might not be the right time, and that's fine, we can talk about it more later, but so we have two main problems: improper recycling and not enough recycling. That's what I'm gathering, if I am gathering it correctly. Improper, so we have an excessive increase in contamination. And talking a little bit about what that means and how that affects our residents' tax dollars. So how much extra are we charged for improper recycling, for example? Someone had mentioned at another meeting how much taxes will increase with a filled landfill. Let's see here. And then maybe highlighting key changes to what the municipality recycles, because at one point we were recycling plastic bags and styrofoam, and now we are no longer. So if some people haven't given the posters that were sent out a good look at, they might still be throwing in styrofoam or plastic bags. And then I think another one that we all discovered too is that we shouldn't be putting recycling in clear plastic bags. I actually spoke to a few of my coworkers who also were surprised by that. So I think that's another key item that we need to promote. And I just had a couple questions. Do we need to teach about separating recycling, or is this done by the company? Because I know there are the separate bins at the transfer station, but then there's also a bin where you can throw in all your recycling.
It all goes together.
We single stream and the company sorts when they get to their facilities.
Okay, so we don't need to worry about teaching separating recycling then.
No.
Correct.
Okay.
But we should,
And-
sorry, just to cut in a little bit, but we should be teaching that the recycling needs to be rinsed before going
Yes.
in.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I guess, sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, just my last question, my other question was, in case someone asked, so we have 13 years of a landfill left. Then what happens after that?
Well, after that, right now, we don't even know if we would get a permit to open a new dump, expand this one, or we don't really know. And
Okay.
Can I speak to it, Bob?
go ahead, Dean.
Way back in my time on council, I guess probably back in the earlier 2000s, we were very concerned about the life of the landfill, and had the old certificate that we had on it said we didn't have much more time. Bob can enlarge on all of this, but in any event, the municipality hired consultants to have a look at the landfill, and also we hired the consultants to help us locate a new site for a landfill. So I just want to tell you that we did a considerable amount of looking for a site throughout the municipality. And as you can imagine, finding a site is very, very difficult. There are so many reasons why it's difficult to find a suitable site for a landfill. We would never want to have to get in a position where we would need to do that. And it makes this recycling so important to enable to us have more years from the existing landfill. And but the idea that we would get another site for a landfill, I can tell you from experience when we were, and I was part of the crew at the time, we were driving all over the municipality looking at where there might be a location that would be suitable. And even if we find something that we think is suitable in our landscape, then it has to be approved by the Ministry of the Environment, and that's not too easy either. And then you get into the issues too, if it's too close to somebody's home or too close to any kind of settled area or cottages, you can just imagine the squawks anybody would put up about having a new landfill site anywhere near them. So I'm just saying this because when it comes to thinking about a new landfill site, that's damn near an impossibility. And maybe Bob, you'd like to enlarge on that from your experience, and you've been with us all the time we were doing this too, so.
So the province has not approved the new landfill for the last 40 years, I believe. And there's no rush to approve any new landfills. That being said, we are in the process of applying for phase 2 and phase 3 of our landfill. EXP that was hired, I believe, last summer to do the study and submit this to the Ministry of Environment are just about ready to send us the first draft of it. So by midsummer, we should be applying it to the ministry and hopefully getting an approval within 2 or 3 years, which would give us another, I believe, 30 years.
But Bob, I don't think we should publicly say that at this point.
No.
Let's use the threat that the landfill could be closed when we're encouraging people to recycle.
But it is acknowledged that we're applying for phase 2 and phase 3.
But 99% of the people don't know that.
But Dean, even if it's sent out, it probably will get approved in 2 or 3 years, but there's still no guarantee.
That's right.
And if we abuse our landfill, yes, we have 13 years left on it, but if we abuse it, it might drop to 7, 8, 9, we don't know.
That is an unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we still, even though we know that it's going to be expanded or should be expanded, well, we still need to watch to manage it properly.
Absolutely.
And the 13 years, is that 13 years at the rate, the terrible recycling that we're doing right now? The projection is 13 years, but if we improve our recycling and cut items going to the landfill, it could be like, what is the, I know I have it written down somewhere, but what is, if we were recycling properly and all this extra stuff wasn't going to the landfill, what was the number of years that we should have left? Was it double? Was it like something like 26?
I don't have that offhand right now.
I think those are just guesstimates.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it could be anywhere from
They're
13.
probably looking at an average of what's been going in so far. But we
Mhm.
got to remember too, like the last few years with all the building permits and everything going on, there's the population is going up too. And it's going to probably keep coming up. Most likely.
Yeah.
So,
It seems like, at least to me, that it's the right thing to do, right? And despite the,
Yeah.
the analytical numbers and projections, and it's kind of incumbent on us to encourage and communicate that. With that thought in mind, my question is, well, not my question, I'm listening, is how do we in fact communicate? And I think Earth Day is interesting, but that's like 1 out of 365, right?
mhm.
How do you get the message out? And to try to back up that my thinking is I did ask people, and I asked myself, and in our last meeting, I said, hey, what do you mean you can't put a clear plastic bag in a recycling bin, right? Well, just one example, but I got to tell you, like 10 out of 10 people don't know that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So-
I didn't
so-
know it. And you might recall, I brought the issue up because I
Yeah,
had been so surprised to find out myself
sure.
that weren't to use the plastic bags anymore.
So it kind of gets back to my, thank you, Dean, but it gets back to the point of, so how do we communicate this? And like most topics, you're either good at it or not so good at it. And possibly we're not so good at it. But that gives us, in my head, again, some drive to how could we be better? The initiative for Earth Day is awesome. I think it's a good point kicking off a new focus and a strong focus. I'll give you again my my little bit of experience, and it's very little. I wish I had more knowledge. We're at the Minettville transfer station a few days ago, and I'm thinking about like, so I've got to empty all the stuff out of this plastic bag that I carried it there with, but then I could throw the plastic bag in after. That didn't make sense to me. And it was a woman was saying, why are you doing that? I said, well, because you can't put plastic bags in recycling. But of course you can. You see, so back to where we were. So I said, well, she says, well, how would I have known that? She's an older woman. I said, well, let's go find out, because there was a sticker on the bin. And on the bin, it says, do not put in black garbage bags. Do not put in plastic bags. So I'm in my head, that's not very clear. So, and maybe it is to everybody else but me. So I said, so how would we communicate that in a different fashion, one that's more effective? I don't have an answer, by the way. I'm just really bringing this forward that I wonder if there's another approach that might be more effective. Anyway, throwing it out there.
Tim, I just read the other day in somewhere, and I can't remember just where, and it said that if a way to gauge whether or not you can put the plastic in the bin is if you can poke your finger through it, it doesn't go in the bin.
Oh, there you go. And that's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm bringing
I
it up
was
just.
at our dump site last Friday, I believe, and I was back there on Monday. Took a look in the recycling bin, the big bin there, and I was surprised. I didn't see one clear bag filled with the recycling. Either the guys at the gate are asking people or telling people, or the word is getting around, because two, I'll call them surprise visits, I went and checked and I didn't see the one. Also with our new pickup, if people put non-recyclables in their blue bin, of our blue bins, they'll be left a note that no, you cannot put this this cup is not recyclable, or whatever, the item X is not recyclable. So people will be educated right at their door. Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm wondering if when we hand out the bins for the pilot project, if maybe we can hand out another flyer. Like I pulled this one up. This is from last year, I guess, that we got. Because some people may have lost theirs, or we know we have a lot of new people in the area. So if we can have a refresher. And maybe, because I pulled this off to look at it again, and I noticed under recycling tips, going back to the black bag thing, it says recycling tips, do not use black garbage bags for recycling, but it doesn't say anything about clear bags.
Oh.
So if we were to hand out another one of these to each of the residents that are going to be part of the pilot project, maybe we could add that in there. And I don't know if there's anything else that we need to change or needs to be updated, but it would be good to mention the clear plastic bags in there too. And then two, just piggybacking on what Tim said, my thought, and I probably didn't mention that, I get too excited and rambling on. And anyway, my thought with the challenge between the schools, so not a competition, more a challenge, and whoever, if it's whole classes that want to create some kind of a recycling art or structure or whatever, or different groups in the classes in each of the 3 schools, then what they create, if hopefully we get buy-in from the various businesses in the community, we can have a little area, food land. I don't know if maybe it's like where they usually keep the Christmas tree by the window, or somewhere in the front entranceway. We have the installation, or the recycling object put there, and then we can have some, maybe it's a little poster board or something that can stay there beside it. So the recycling art catches the person's attention, think, whoa, what is that? That's really cool. And it's also awesome for the kids that created it. They can show their family members and their friends. And, as they're going through the community, they'll see their different items that they made. And then beside it, we can have, whatever key messages that we want to share, like don't put your recycling in plastic bags, for example. And that could be, up for a couple of weeks, a month. It'd be nice, at least if it was for a couple of weeks. And then maybe too, that might, in having a conversation about businesses about that might be a chance to get them on board with recycling initiatives as well. And we can talk about what we might like to see in that regards, but just a couple notes that I jotted down, making sure that each of the businesses, especially like the home hardware and the Foodland and chip stands, that they have recycling bins outside in the summer, as well as their garbage cans. I'm just thinking about like how to get styrofoam out of local restaurants and chip stands, how to get styrofoam out of Foodland. Like, went to buy a broccoli, and you can get broccoli that's in a bag, or you can put it in a bag, or you can also get broccoli that's on a styrofoam wrapped in plastic, but we don't recycle styrofoam anymore. So is there a reason why it needs to be in the styrofoam? And I was also thinking about the library Facebook page. That would be, there's a lot of young families that look at that library Facebook page. That could be a place where maybe once a week they promote a recycling tip, especially in the lead up to Earth Day, because I'm sure they'll also probably do some kind of Earth Day activity or offer some kind of Earth Day activity for kids in the community. Sorry, I try not to throw too many things out there. I think I did.
Okay.
You're doing a lot of thinking, Jennifer.
Fine.
Yeah. And that's
Bob,
good.
Bob, can I
Coming
just
back
say a comment too? Sorry. I'd just like to comment on Tim's,
go ahead.
thank you. As Tim was saying, to educate people, I think with the people that are gonna get the curbside recycling pickup, I think it's already in the plans that when they deliver the boxes, and that's why they want to deliver them, that they're gonna get a little bit of an education on site as they're delivering the bins. And I think everybody that's going to get that is pretty much going to learn it. they're going to be self-taught by that. And I think eventually our plan is to go all of the municipality or most of the municipality is curbside recycling. And I think that will solve a lot of the problem that we have right now, because they just won't pick up stuff that's not supposed to be picked up in recycling, and they'll just leave a note. So people will get educated a lot that way, I think. That's it.
Yes, Dave, I believe those were the plans of
Mhm.
of staff. If I may, we've been on this for an hour. If I may sum up quickly, I'm sure Michelle's got notes of all our ideas there. If I can suggest that I could meet with Michelle and Bob, and if Kevin's available in maybe the next few days, and form a little plan for April 22nd for Earth Day, and bringing in the recycling and everything, then we can just present it to you quickly. I mean, through email, not to, and kind of go from there. Would that be acceptable?
Sure.
I think so, Bob.
Okay,
Sure.
you're okay with that, Jennifer?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, Tim?
Absolutely.
Okay, Dean?
Yep.
Now, Bob and Michelle, when would you be available to meet with me in the next couple of days? Even tomorrow morning, I don't care. SAP's not running, it's a good time.
I'll have to check my calendar. I don't know what I have on for tomorrow.
How about
I'd like-
Bob and you, Michelle, coordinate it and let me know, and I can go meet you at the office, at the garage office.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to see what Kevin's available also.
Is that okay at your end, Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to move forward, getting away from Earth Day to roundtable discussions. And I believe, Jennifer, like your ideas of competition or recycling art or whatever is a great idea. How do we put that in place, something like that?
Good question. Well, I was thinking that would be the action item. So for Earth Day. So Earth Day, we ask that schools show, the classrooms show whatever slideshow presentation with whatever videos we want to show. We ask them to show that. And then at the end, it could be another slide, another page in the presentation. We introduce the challenge, and then, hopefully beforehand, so we have the next month to do our networking. And I mean, I can take care of Manettville, that's no issue. But so making phone calls to both principals at Saint Antoine and Rivière des Français, and we get them on board, we get them talking to their teachers. So we have the buy-in beforehand to ensure that the teachers actually show the slideshow. And they are prepared. They have an idea of what this challenge is, so that when they present it to the kids, they're not, I can't talk tonight. Anyway, they have an idea of what it is beforehand, so that they're prepared to give the presentation and present the idea of the challenge. And then maybe we give, they have the next couple of, well, if we start our outreach soon, then they can be collecting their recycling and cleaning it up until Earth Day. And then hopefully maybe Earth Day, that day itself, they watch the slideshow and then they start creating their, planning and creating their masterpieces, their recycling masterpieces. And we give them, a certain date, like maybe they have a couple of weeks after Earth Day. And then I don't know how, we can think about how we would collect them, and maybe we can advertise it on have pictures of the different recycling masterpieces on our website. And then if we have businesses on board by that date, then we can divide them up. I don't know how many masterpieces we would get, but we could have them dispersed throughout the various communities, Albin and Noelville and Minettville. Pardon me?
On display.
On display, yeah. And then if we have several displays, we're not going to want a huge poster board for every display, but something manageable where, the masterpiece is what attracts the person's attention. And then once we have their attention, we have a few key pieces of information or a flyer that people can take to read more. But anyway, whatever information we want to make sure that people we have that next to the installation in a really easy to read manner.
Okay. Anything else? Does anyone want to bring anything else or comments on this or?
Dean,
Yeah, Dean.
I keep thinking about this idea that we discussed about trees. And I think if there's anything that also kind of emphasizes Earth Day, it would be tree planting. I don't know anything about acquiring trees, but at one time when we had Ron Garbutt on council, he had an in with Inco, and Inco raises a lot of seedlings. He used to get all kinds of seedlings from Inco that we distributed through primarily with the group that we had that are still in existence but haven't met much because of COVID. But our group that was looking after French River waterways and that sort of thing, and we used to get a lot of trees from them, and we handed them out to people at public presentations. I don't know whether Ron can still do that or not, but I'll email him and ask him if he has any access to any of those seedlings, because if we had a few hundred of those things, it would be nice to have to hand out to people when they're looking at any of our displays or at any of our booths or tables. It'd be good. I mean, and to me, nothing sort of epitomizes Earth Day more than planting trees. I mean, I think even the federal government now has got a program where they're supposed to plant so many million trees are planted in the next little while. So it's the one, trees are the one counteractive thing to carbon. So they eat it up.
And it's nice that it's, sorry, I was just going to say, it's nice that it's a tangible thing that people can do. People need something to actually do. Then it makes them feel, okay, I'm actually doing something, I'm actually contributing here. And one thing that drives me crazy for Earth Day, it's usually cleaning up the community, which is great. And there are certain places that really need it. But for example, by Minettville School, we only have access to one road unless we're going on a field trip, which is a lot more complicated to do. And our one road doesn't really have, it's a country road and it doesn't really have a lot of garbage. So here we are, with lots of black garbage bags out, and then all the kids have gloves on. And in my opinion, we often create more garbage than we actually picked up. But the point is that people want something to actually do. Like, yes, it's great. I mean, the learning part is really, really important as well. but they need that physical, tangible thing that they can do. And I'm really, fingers crossed, trying hard to have something else that we can do. At least I'm talking about my school. I don't know if the other schools usually do a cleanup on Earth Day, but that's why I'm hoping that we'll have something that my school can do on that day that does not involve going out and collecting, you know, the 3 pieces of garbage that we'll probably find along that road, and then throwing all of our gloves and black garbage bags into the waste bin. But that's nice also about the trees, is that, again, it's something we can do. And I mean, I don't know if this is, you know, if we would have enough trees, but that might also be something kind of cool to hand out to the kids at the schools as well, that they can take home with them. Or maybe that's a next year thing, but I like the tree idea as well.
Let me see what I can find out. I mean, it's possible Ron can still get us some of those trees, those seedlings.
Okay, Dean, and I'll reach out to Randy to get a little bit more information from him for the Lions end of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
For
I
the
think
Lions.
I also read on an old set of minutes that there's something called the Sudbury Forest. And I think we're going back, maybe I saw 2004, but it was, they had requested somebody from the municipality to become part of that committee. So what I'm suggesting is there had been initiatives in the past. Maybe they're still available, maybe they're not. But I did pick up on that just through some searching around I did. Well, just trying to complete my thought. So yeah, so this Forest Ontario, I'm told, is 25 cents a seedling. So if you did 1,000 seedlings, is $250. What I would suggest, if we're not prepared to do that or something like that this year, that possibly follow up for next year and maybe create a plan that projects out 5 years, and the municipality would commit to either the funding, but the communication and the focus on trees, other initiatives, all of the recycling. Anyway, I'm just completing my little notes. So if you don't mind, I'll spit that out. I had one other item. So GFL, right? Our recycling folks.
Yes.
I have it correct, eh? So they're the pros. And what I'm interested in maybe hearing or possibly getting that information is the metrics. So are they telling us we're doing a great job, or they're telling us we're doing a terrible job? And if it's not great, what would they suggest? And I would assume they have that experience to work with a municipality. Possibly they have resources and experience. So I'm just throwing that out. Like I said, I wrote it down. What would be the metrics? Are we 50% or are we 90% effective?
Bob?
Yeah, Bob. You
All
there,
right,
Bob?
right now, our recycling is running at about 40% contamination,
40% contamination?
which is not great.
No, no, I suppose not. It doesn't sound good, that's for certain.
Well, it's not, and we're basically double paying for that 40% because they're hauling it from Novel to North Bay,
Right.
and then they have to separate it, and then they have to haul it to the landfill.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's gotta stop for sure.
So hopefully with the new recycling program that we're gonna be starting in May, that 40% drops down to basically nothing. Because anything that's picked up by the recycler at the road should be 100% recycling.
Do you think, what do you think the percentage of residents who are going to have access to that recycling program to begin with, but maybe even say in a year from now?
I believe we're starting at about 40% of the residents.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
The trick will be to get them to participate.
Well, sure. And then that's on us to help them with that. Yeah, I would have thought the number was smaller, but then like where I live, you can't put it at the curb. The raccoons will drag it away. But I guess that's not the case everywhere.
Well, it is a limiting
you.
factor, Tim. That sort of thing is a limiting factor that will that will be a problem as we try to expand this and look at going further out into the boonies. That's why we're kind of concentrating on the beginning on the urban areas, trying to build up areas as much as possible. But if we want to expand it, the issues with animals and crows and all ravens and everything else all kind of gets into it. Although recycling, not as much as garbage, I guess. The garbage is an even more difficult thing.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Recycling should be clean.
Yeah.
Bob, I have just one more question, if you don't mind. And
Go ahead.
I'll stop. We're at 40% diversion, or on the negative side, I guess, right? Is that a fair way to say that? 40% of what we have is incorrect. Did he put a dollar value on that?
We can certainly find those numbers if you want. I don't want to have those
Just
with me tonight.
conversationally, like it's more than $10.
Well, it's more than $10 for sure.
Okay.
Maybe we can come up with those numbers and we can give you more accurate numbers when we get those.
Yeah, for
Michelle
sure.
can put an email out with that information if you want.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. To me, it just points at the immediacy and how much attention that you put on this type of thing. If this is $1 million to be saved, we should be there. And I buy in. If it's $10, well, it's 13 years in a landfill. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Anything from anyone else?
I got a little
Okay,
comment.
go ahead.
Just from what Tim was saying about our recycling contractor, and if they have resources or whatever, would it be possible we could ask them if they would provide somebody that would come on Earth Day at our booths and maybe give a little bit of presentation on their behalf? Would that be a possibility? We can ask.
We can ask. A great idea. Great idea, Dave.
We can put it out to them for sure and ask them.
Cool.
Doesn't cost anything to ask.
Okay.
They might have someone from, I didn't realize that GFL is Ontario wide. So I assume they probably have like a head office in Toronto, and maybe they have some community outreach people that's their job. So
I'm sure
Maybe,
they have
but,
educational people, trainers,
Yeah.
something.
yeah,
I'm just thinking though, but on April 22nd, that might be one of their busiest days.
Yeah, they might be busy.
Demand on them.
But we
So,
can
but,
ask.
We can ask, or that they might even have material that
Mhm.
we could use as a handout. So, okey doke, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. I'll be, Bob, Michelle, I'll be waiting for your phone call. And I'm asking for adjournment, but if there's anyone that wants to chime in with anything. If not, I need a resolution, a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting.
I'll move it,
I'll
Bob.
move it.
Dave
set.
and Tim, I think I heard.
Sure.
Okay, and have a great evening. And we'll be talking soon. Thank
Good
you.
night,
very
everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
We hope
Bye.
next time we're face to face, although I think we're getting more used to these Zoom meetings that they're not as bad as when they started. Have a great evening, everyone.
See you.
Have a good
Night.
Bob.
Bye.